Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass, and with me today is my lovely co-host Cassandra.
Hi.
And our Dirty Spires intern still living in his paper room Spires hot dog, Skillen.
Yep, straight out of the spawning pits.
And today we have lore Uncle Steve, who has joined us to talk about Dweghom lore.
I'm so sorry.
Jesus. Okay.
This is perfect expectation setter there.
This is wonderful. Okay. That was perfect.
And I'm drinking for this one too, so you're also getting an adversarial.
Like all the guests
Lord
with
Delivery
top,
experience.
all the guests with top billing decided not to show up, so you're stuck with me today.
What do you mean? Like, Kang just had to go and spend time with his family or some shit.
To be fair,
No Kang, no Dweghfather. It's real dark times here.
Okay, well, we'll put Dweghfather not being here on me. That's fine. I'll take that one. Go ahead, Cassandra.
I just think it's a little absurd for to talk like we had these big celebrities on when in fact it was just like a bunch of guys we know. I think if I went out on the street and was like, "Do you know who Carl Swanson is?" I wouldn't get a lot of.
No, but for the expected listener base of this episode, I'm sure that if you were like, "Hey, do you know who Carl Swanson is?" they'd be like,
So
yeah, I know.
basically, in terms
Sounds
of
like he comes in
Conquest
second.
community, I would say I'm the most famous, important person in the community by like a country mile.
Yeah, we know that.
Then it's probably Carl and Mass and some other folks.
Dude,
Some key luminaries. Well, you're a content creator and you're very influential. So.
people say that. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you
know how
also
many
get
followers I have?
to
Fucking zero.
ride the my trail of stardust as well. So that's doing you favors as well.
Thank God. I'm content on nepotism.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, like everybody is pretty much kind of whoever. So it's fine.
My hand still hurts, by the way.
I'm in my rage bait era. Incidentally, I'm hoping that drums up a little business in the comments.
Hell
I think there was one comment where, like, one guy, he's like, "Oh, started listening to this on Spotify. Had to switch to YouTube to see Maid Carl. Was not disappointed."
Oh, that's one of Kang's locals.
I'm like, I have to reply to that, and I have to send that to that gentleman. But that one's probably gonna get saved for the archive of good comments. I thought that was really funny. And then the other one was like, opportunist doesn't work on impact. And I'm like, pretty sure it does. I'll go double check, but right now I'm busy, so not right now. Okay. So, we're going to talk about Dweghom. We're going to talk about, if I recall correctly, I'll just go down the list.
Clash or volley action in the flank or rear arc, so they are correct.
Oh, thank you, Steve. You going to get on that Parabellum Judge program, or what?
We'll see.
What Parabellum Judge program?
You got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, first I heard about it.
Okay, step 1, glue the guy's leg backwards.
Are we just gonna psyop PB into making a judge program by making reference to it over and over until they do?
Well, every once in a while they supposedly like look at content to see what the content creators are doing, and and it's like,
why? So that's why they haven't been writing me back.
I think in that scenario they would have stopped listening to us
long time ago.
A very long
Yeah.
time.
Long time ago.
We're
Agreed.
safe. I had to wait until the attention was off before I can voice my stupid ass opinions on the internet.
Not me.
Well, that's why I used I used you and Mass to create a space where it is safe.
Is that what the BonkTable Discord is? A safe space from the international Discord?
I would argue that for most wargamers, the BonkTable Discord is not a safe space.
No, PvP is on. Be careful.
Yeah, this is my native environment though, so I'm like, oh, this is fine.
I found it real. I was actually talking to my mother about this, but it was I took my mom out to her birthday today, and when I was dropping her off at home, we were talking, and I was like talking about you and stuff we've been on and trips and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it was really surprising when I found out that Skillen was from the North End and that we only lived like a couple blocks from each other in our like formative years. It explains so much, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, definitely puts a stamp on you, I guess.
We know. It's just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I could just imagine that, just like a piece of paper with like that section of town and just saying we know, and it's like, god damn it. All right, so Steve has provided a list of broad Dweghom topics. Probably not gonna get into like specifics for characters and stuff, but we're gonna go over the creation, the exile to the mines, finding war / freeing war, the shattering, memory wars, and probably do some stuff with the clans, and then wrap it up with some character and regiment specific lore, anything that's interesting in there. So Steve, with your gracious voice, please tell us about the creation of the makers.
So the astute listener will remember the last 2 episodes where we briefly touched upon the dragons and the interaction with the exiles, specifically the voice, who would go on to kind of help establish the Weaver courts, and then the spires, who the voice enthusiastically snitched on to the dragons. She basically went up to them and was going on and on about how horrible biomancy was and how it was an affront to all of their deeply held spiritual and religious, cultural beliefs. And the dragons, capitalizing on this, were kind of like, so they can create life. Fascinating. How about you tell you what? This sounds very taxing for you. We understand this is a very touchy subject for you. How about you and your followers just go? We're going to give you some land over here. Go colonize this land to the west. We gift that to you. We're going to go have a little chat with the sovereign. And chat they did. The chat was basically summed up as, teach us how to do this biomancy shit or we fucking kill the shit out of you. Ever the survivalist, the sovereign acquiesced and gifted them some of his most studious and learned biomancers, and together with the dragons, they gave the dragons, their knowledge, did a little knowledge transfer, and eventually this begot the dwarves, who I can't remember if the book seems to flip between the two, but calling them either the makers or the crafters. Done so because the dragons basically used biomancy to create a servile race, designed entirely around serving them and building them amazing rooks and monuments and filling it with all sorts of goodies fit for a proper dragon's horde. The dwarves were all too eager to do this, having been basically genetically programmed to do this. Unfortunately for them, I think that the way that it could be described was at the very best, these people could hope for benevolent neglect at the hand of the dragons, if not outright cruelty. Very rarely, this did lead to attempts at resistance groups forming or kind of insurrection against their masters. Very uncommon. Again, they were kind of specifically designed to not be able to rebel. Whenever these very rare instances did crop up, the leaders were executed, and anyone following them was exiled to the deep mines to plumb the earth for valuable resources to create more grand works for the dragons. To ensure that no knowledge was lost between generations of the very long-lived Dweghom, they were also given near-perfect memory. Turns out that was a bad idea on the dragon's part, because when you have entire generations of Dweghom just slowly, gradually building up, being exiled to the mines, they have a very long time to remember every single grudge that they've held against being exiled to like the shittiest parts of the mines and the shittiest, like most dangerous parts of the world. So basically, they just spent eons just mad seething about their situation and just dreaming of revenge.
Do Dweghom dream of slaying dragons? Tears,
Yeah,
tears in the lava.
So as they toiled, their anger and each strike of their tools became a sort of prayer, and eventually they dug so deep that they found themselves stumbling accidentally upon the prison that the dragons had constructed of the primordial horsemen of war. And in war, they found both their salvation and their damnation.
Hot. All right, so
Yes, it's in the core of Ea. It's very hot.
So romantic. What was I gonna ask? I think it wasn't the leadership that got banished, just as like a when they that's such a
no. The followers were the ones that were banished. The leaders were executed as a very clear message of don't fucking try this at home.
Oh, okay. So Kang lied to me because I thought he said the leadership had died and all the followers got to watch, and then the leadership got banished to the mines as a you did bad. But,
Wait, isn't that what you didn't you just repeat what I said? I thought you said that the leadership died and the followers got banished.
No, other way around. That's fine.
Oh,
I'm learning this right now as I build minis. Anyway,
Hear that? He's holding space and learning, chat.
Jesus Christ.
So basically, sorry, go ahead.
For the listener, it's also really hot today, so it is appropriate for the theme of the Dweghom seething in a boiling, essentially dungeon.
Dude, I got central air. We're good.
We've really set the mood here.
But we figured it was like 32 in Steve land. That's Celsius, so is that in Fahrenheit for our Americanos?
I think that's like 91, I want to say.
Oh my god.
The accepted term is Americoid.
No, I like the Americanos because then it sounds like they're drinks.
I am supposed to be drinking for this, right? I did good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
I'm drinking,
good.
so
I'm following the rules then.
I hate to be drinking alone.
So they rolled up upon the prison of war. The dragons had sealed him there in kind of a weird system where it was kind of a multi-layered prison, and then in the final layer, they basically trapped his primordial form within a large metal effigy that they then broke into hundreds of pieces and then recombined into a singular form. Basically, due to his nature, he just spent all of his energy just fighting himself, since they're a bunch of different pieces kind of loosely cobbled together. Wasting a bunch of his energy.
Wasn't this the same guy who, like, can't figure out to put... He just keeps putting everything in the square hole, and it's, like, not working out for him?
I mean, that sounds like part of his problem. One of several. But so the Dweghom find him, and basically... This isn't exactly how this worked out, but effectively it boils down to he says, "I'll help you kill the dragons if you free." Wait, why am I already free? And they're like, "Yeah, this is great. Get back to the part where you help us kill the dragons."
It's just
in reality,
no, you don't understand.
In reality, I think that the Dweghom, upon finding him, spent several hundred years kind of like planning their great retribution. So they're having their greatest sorcerers and whatnot practice rituals to disbind the prison, figuring that it would create a backlash against the dragons that are maintaining this the bond of this prison to maintain its integrity. They were gearing up, using all the rare crazy ass primordial resources that they found down there, like adamantine and other stuff, to create grand weapons capable of felling even the strongest of dragons. And when they finally flipped the switch and broke the prison, that did indeed create a massive kind of magical psychic backlash that instantly crippled most of the elder dragons that had been responsible for a lot of the prison integrity. War's energies basically suffused into the Dweghom in the area, making them into a very fittingly warlike people. Also imbued them with fire and earth magic, And yeah, they basically pop out of the earth with a bang and just start going around finding every fucking dragon they can find, stabbing it to death while it's crippled. And then once the elder dragons were mostly slain, they then took to the rooks where the younger dragons were. They're just fucking killing everyone. They're just throwing hands left and right. They're going ape shit. They're having a ball. This is their new life.
So are they like just a bunch of angry termites running around and just causing problems? The dragon's like, they're in my home! They're eating my windows and walls!
I would say it's more akin to a giant Asian hornet, except there are no Asian honeybees to like form the little heat ball to kill them.
Oh no.
So basically they're just pulling dragons apart, they're stabbing them, they're enslaving the drakes and the lesser dragon spawn and turning them into, tools of war. They're killing drakes, they're killing eggs, they're smashing everything up, they're mad as hell. It's a bad time. This was referred to as the Shattering.
There's just one dragon. Shit got real, yo. Shit's on fire, yo.
Literally, yes. Part of their literal eruption onto the planet's surface again was heralded by pretty much the entire planet just being on fire. Cataclysmic gouts of magma and lava just bursting out of the ground. Everything's on fire. Dragons are dying. They're fucking shooting fire magic everywhere. They're going ape shit.
Okay,
this is a brief.
Now slide over to the Sovereign. What was he doing during this time?
Laughing it up, I suspect.
Well, as
drinking champagne and laughing.
No, as the Sovereign is wont to do, he saw an opportunity and thought, well, the dragons are busy, and they stole a lot of our artifacts and shit that they basically, from the homeworld, that they basically extorted out of us in return for not killing the shit out of us. Maybe now's a good time to go raid some of these rooks and claim our stuff.
So he's basically the British.
Well, the Dweghom, when they weren't busy killing dragons, did remember, oh wait, these are the fuckers that taught the dragons biomancy and therefore are directly responsible for our eons of like being basically a slave caste to the dragons. Fuck these guys.
Thank goodness.
And they did. They really, really did. Several spires were, I think, destroyed in the chaos of the Shattering. Eventually, both sides were kind of taxed, if I'm remembering correctly, leading to kind of a temporary uneasy stalemate where they're kind of like, okay, fuck, the Dweghom don't want to waste resources not killing dragons. The Spires didn't want to waste resources getting fucking killed. So things kind of found an uneasy middle ground where they kind of went their own ways and kind of their wounds.
That's a classic stalemate.
And then, so this event is referred to as the Shattering of the world, and this is a bit of a spoiler for people that haven't gotten their new lore books yet, but it was kind of confirmed. The Dweghom didn't really realize this.
What do you mean they didn't realize? They were too hopped up on war juice.
Well, no, what I'm about to say is they didn't really realize what caused the Shattering. They thought, like, oh shit, we're breaking the fucking earth here. This is wild. We might be a little too turned up here with fire and earth magic. What actually happened, as is revealed in the chapter about famine at the end of the book, Jormungandr, the world dragon, was basically using his body to kind of encircle the depths of the earth in the abyss of the sea, to kind of give the planet some sturdiness, as it were, against destruction rampaging to try to break free of the core of the planet. He was pretty fucked up by that backlash from War's prison breaking, and basically it caused a little, well, quote-unquote little, it's a huge gaping wound in his body, but that basically made him turn over in his sleep, and the resulting everything just bursting into flames and the earth like massive earthquakes and like tectonic plate shifting and everything. That was just him kind of having a little rollover in his sleep because he had an itch to scratch. And the Dweghom were like, oh fuck, we broke reality.
Oops, goes reality.
So that's kind of what happened there in a nutshell. And then, last but not least, how could we forget? Once they were running low on dragons to kill, they also turned their attention to the remaining loyalist dwarves, and decided, you know what, those guys are we're complicit in all this. They get to die too.
They really did not do any justice system on anybody. No fair trials. They're like, you died due to association. It's like, oh my god.
So the then High King leadership, High King, I don't know, whatever the leadership the Dweghom at the time had, also by becoming infused with war, they ascended from being dwarves into being Dweghom, who are denoted by being, baptized by war. They're the firstborn children of war. Incredibly high affinity for fire and earth magic. Super cantankerous. Those energies also made them slightly bigger than a dwarf, so they're like maybe a head taller.
Yeah, I remember.
Approximately.
I remember, is it either Stavros or Leo who was saying that the Dweghom are basically the size of regular people, of like humans, maybe slightly shorter, like an inch or two, but like still pretty much the same size.
So I think they are a little shorter. Like they might be maybe a head shorter than a person, but like they're also like as wide as they are tall. So fucking brick shit house.
I
was just gonna say they may be 5'11" tall, but they are 6 feet wide.
Yeah, they got those fucking Popeye arms, and legs and necks and everything. But yeah, so they basically slayed almost all of the loyalist dwarves, the makers, with the exception of Fenner, Reagan, and Oder, who are the three mad pissed off dwarves from Helheim, who we will get to one day.
When Hell is released, or if it doesn't, like a lore episode about of whatever we currently know.
Yep, and then the leadership of the Dweghom were so taken aback by just the senseless genocide of their former people, most of whom were completely innocent and were just kind of building shit and singing songs and whatever the fuck dwarves do when they're not getting abused by dragons. They basically abdicated their rule and fucked off.
Oh, okay.
And then a few ancestors of the group that basically freed war decided to stay down in the primordial depths near the core of the planet, in part to combat the ever-present danger of destruction that raged within.
Okay, so this destruction hole, these are the thing that's coming out of the hole from Jormungandr, the world serpent.
No, Jormungandr's kind of wrapped around the mantle layer of the planet. Destruction is basically the core of the planet.
Yeah.
Creating all the roiling magma and stuff, and all the tectonic shifts and volcanic activity is basically him trying to escape his prison, which is balance. I guess balance is the surface of the planet, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, destruction's influence is causing corruption for if there's life forms down there, they turn real fucking weird, become hyper violent. I think the humans would probably refer to a lot of those entities as demons or demonic entities, due to the fact that they're completely warped and crazy.
So what you're saying
destruction's energies and.
What you're saying is that war is like emulsion from Gears of War.
Oh no.
Short tangent. I don't understand Gears of War.
Oh, it's stupid.
It's like 7 hours of dumbass bro time, and then also it's like, oh, Dom's wife died. Now we're gonna listen to a song by Gary Jules. Donnie Darko. Be ever watched? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's basically it's like, oh, there's emulsion, which is like oil equivalent, and it's like, yeah, it mutates everything, and people fight over it, and it mutates them into monsters.
They already were monsters.
No, the Locusts are mutated humans.
That sounds like a pretty bad world. Metal Gear Solid.
Well, spoilers for a 20-year-old game.
I thought we were talking about Metal Gear Solid, not Gears of War.
What?
I thought you said.
No, we're talking about Gears of War.
Oh, I thought you said
Gears
Metal Gear
of-
Solid.
Gears of-
Yeah, no, I know.
No, Gears
Okay,
of
yeah.
War.
I was like, what the fuck? No, it's propane.
That's why I said that Donnie Darko is the most serious film that Cliffy B's ever watched.
Okay, then I am obviously off track here. But I do love Mad World from Gary Jules.
All that aside, I'm just making a joke about oil being at the center of conflict.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
I've learned
So
I
this
cannot-
this flawlessly leads us to the Memory Wars, with the dragons almost entirely killed, save for a few standouts that we might get to eventually, and all but 3 of the loyalist dwarves mega dead. The Dweghom, rebranded as society, and lived happily ever after. Except that's not at all what happened. Being so suffused with war, this is where the damnation bit of Freeing War comes in, because they basically got together to chronicle their amazing deeds. As it turns out, that long memory and newfound hyper aggression doesn't really pair well. So when they got together and one group said, yeah, we were super cool, we did X, Y, and Z, another group said, that's not how we remember it. And then they said, well, I guess that just means we have to kill you so that we can be the ones that are right.
Oh my god, guys, calm down.
Thus begins the Memory Wars.
Wow.
Where basically, all these groups get together and try to decide who's right by beating the shit out of each other.
Was this like the Anchorman end battle in the 2 movies, where they just kept more and more guys showing up?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't really know, but it feels like there's the same DNA there.
I hope so. I could imagine it, just Anchorman, but with all the Dweghom. They're like, now remember, everyone, no going for the eyes. We need to see these to record them as memory.
Well, that's why you want to fuck up the other guy's eyes.
Oh yeah, I guess that's fair.
Your memory having days are over, pal.
So a little excerpt. This is just in the initial parts in reference to the slaying of the crafter population, the maker population. Sickened by their belligerence and the cost of their victory, the ancestors abdicated their leadership. Suddenly bereft of leadership and without a purpose to guide them, the Dweghom called upon their Nemancers to lay their deeds before them and build the foundation of a new society. No sooner had they gathered than the problems began. The accounts held by each Holds Nemancer and those records were beyond dispute differed. While to any other people this would be a small difference attributed to different points of view and the historian's own personal influence, the Dweghom view memory as inviolate. When 2 dwarves disagree on a common memory, blood is sure to follow. When Nemancers agree on history, war is not far behind.
Oh. Okay, so they have near perfect memory, but then comes the question, like,
They have near perfect memory, but like no
Is it-
theory of mind.
Well, no, the problem is that they have perfect memory, but this is a common exercise for history courses, I think. Like a teacher will take a bunch of people out into like a field, let's say, and they're all experiencing the same thing, and they're basically told, record everything that happens in the next 30 minutes, and then they go back, and when they compare notes, they all had the same experience. Everyone records things in a different way. Everyone focused on different things. Therefore, their memories are perfect, but they differ in what they have interpreted. The Dweghom apparently are very upset by this.
Yeah, that's literally what I meant by like no theory of mind. They're like, no, my memory is perfect. Only my perspective is valid, and they can't like fully understand that like someone else might have a different perspective of something that happened.
So what you're saying is they have the mental development of a toddler.
Yeah, basically.
So
well, look, they were designed fucked up. What do you want?
So basically, anyone playing Dweghom is playing a bunch of idiot children that love to kill each other. Got it.
I mean, like that. Yeah,
great.
like not far off.
Your words, not mine.
I mean, I accept your interpretation of my words. Look, if Brian was here, I think he would laugh at that. So I endorse
He's
it.
playing Darktide right now.
Well, Brian's not here, so while the cat's away, the mice will play.
Damn, Steve just gets everything tonight, doesn't he?
This is perfect.
I should note that glass of whiskey is almost empty.
Oh, it sounds like you need more. We're just gonna drunk
I'm
Steve
up,
telling us the lore of Dweghom. Yeah, then those motherfuckers started fighting again. It's like Steve.
No, if I get proper drunk, I'll just be really sad.
Oh, who's
Yeah,
that?
we want to stay in the
Relatable.
happy zone. We don't want sad Steve.
Do not need sad Steve.
Let's see.
No, let's get sad drunk and talk about our lives.
Ugh. I gotta go.
I don't need to be an accessory to crime.
So I guess having gotten through most of the backstory, that takes us to the various sub-factions.
Okay, I have a question with the backstory.
Yes.
In the Shattering, we know that. Well, I was kind of asking a bit about this with the big snake and everything, or the big world serpent. But we know via the Lost and Found, or did they change the name of the Found? I thought they did. I thought they called them Damned or something. I don't know. Who
If
cares?
they did, I think they're found still. Last I checked.
Anyway, with the Lost and Found and the ancestors down there, do we know what they're fighting? Because we know they're fighting like demons or something, but like, what are they fighting down there? Is my question.
I think, as far as I can tell, it would be creatures of the basically kind of living near the core that have been corrupted by destruction's energies.
So that
so
bit of
basically
that wound in Jormungandr, who's like released some destruction juice all over the place due to the
No.
Shattering.
That's-
Okay, getting this wrong
no,
again.
that's something completely different.
Okay,
Jormungandr. Yeah, I just brought it up because Jormungandr is like him turning over from like getting wounded is what caused the like mass destruction from the Shattering, where like the world's like breaking apart and everything's bursting into flames. Beyond that, he doesn't really play too much into this. That'll be more Famine's thing when we eventually get to them.
Okay, sweet.
But no, it's just weird. It's just weird shit living in the near the core of the Earth, or not the Earth, the core of Aya, kind of warped and mutated and
Is this
rampaging.
stuff that's warped by like proximity to War's prison, or are they just like that?
Partly War's prison, more so I think that as you approach the core of the Earth, the core of the planet, that's where destruction is basically holed up in the primordial planes. So
Oh, okay.
the closer you get to there, it's basically destruction itself, I think.
Yeah, they're just born fucked up then.
Okay. Now, my next question. This is Skill and I have two different schools of thoughts on this one, and I just want it answered by an adult. Did the Spires plan I would say the manipulation of the Dweghom? Did they, when they were giving the dragons biomancy and all that stuff to make a slave race, did they build in the way for the Dweghom to I guess like?
Oh, that's not what I said.
Oh, yeah, that's what you have conveyed to me, and I'm
No,
going
no.
to continue. No, I'm going to continue. Let me finish my thought here, good sir.
I'll give my interpretation of it in a second.
Yes, please do. Thank you. Skill and I have had talks on this. My school of thought is the Dweghom were created, but then got pissed at the dragons, and then rebelled once they found War, and succeeded finally once they got to War, kind of thing. And from my understanding from Skillen, if I remember correctly, using my memory with the capital M, he's saying that the Spires put that into the Dweghom when they were being made to rebel at some point, or to like be defiant towards the dragons, even though they're being like tortured and punished all the time. So it's like, it wasn't our deal, we swear. But it was like, it was.
I would say no.
Okay.
I want to restate this
Okay, counter.
into what I was actually saying. What I was saying is, like, so I work in software development, right? And there's this thing that happens where like your boss will give you like a spec, or like will like ask for something, and like you kind of know it's a bad idea, and it depends on how much you like them as to whether or not you're just like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I can see that this would cause a problem, and like there are points where you're just like, I'll just let them find out like when it becomes a problem, and then like I won't be around, so it won't be my problem. And I'm just kind of like, at some point, one of those if they knew what the design for the Dweg were, I have a feeling that someone along the lines in the Spires would have realized that this would have created problems, and they just said nothing and let it happen, and we're kind of like, cool, maybe it'll work out.
Okay, thank you very much. I do appreciate your opinion. I do like your train of thought. Steve, what is the answer?
I lean towards they probably did not foresee this. Basically, in the agreement with the dragons, the Sovereign handed over 3 of the greatest minds of the Directorate. They kind of collaborated with the Elder Dragons as well as the kind of more magically inclined younger dragons. Spent years trying to, combine the various resources. Eventually created rudimentary life and kind of continued to iterate upon it. It was at the urging of the biomancers from the Spires that they're like, hey, just saying this from personal experience, not a great idea to give your creatures the possibility of rebellion. Maybe instill in them a deep-seated dread and displeasure at upsetting their creators so that they don't turn against you the minute they get pissed off. Eventually, because they couldn't make these things immortal, the dragons got kind of pissed off at that, and they kind of gave the gift of memory to the Dweghom to make sure that they had the kind of constant ongoing memory transfer kind of baked into them so that knowledge wouldn't be lost between generations when they eventually died off. I think it was more just an unhappy accident.
Well, happy for
So
the
even in
Sovereign.
your description, they're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this and this and this, right? And then the dragons are like, fuck you, I do what I want.
So I will say this is an unreliable narrator because we don't have an omniscient narrator.
Yeah, that's
in the
fine.
lore. It does say
That was Stavros reading it to us.
even as they marvel. He's really not reliable.
He's lying about his own setting. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'll figure it out later.
Even as they marveled at their creations, they could not see the dark path they had taken, and at the urging of the Spire's biomancers, they imprinted in their servitors a deep and abiding dread of displeasing their creators, ensuring perpetual loyalty, or so was thought.
So yeah, the Spires were like, hey, this is a bad idea, like a real bad idea, and the dragons are just like I've literally been in this position where I'm like, yeah, we don't want to do this, and then it's like, your boss insists, and then you're just like...
At the insistence of the biomancers.
Oh, so at their insistence, they...
Or not really insistence, but they're like, hey,
not a good idea.
We're very familiar with pissing off the underclasses and having them rebel against us. Maybe make it really hard for them to do that.
Yeah, didn't they go against that advice, or did they go with it? And going with the advice caused the problem?
No, so that was just one thing. I think the real problem was the memory aspect, because having very long-lived, so basically having like almost a genetic inbuilt memory, where like memory is passed along genetically, and then exiling all these generations of would-be freedom fighters, and just letting them remember like generations of seething hatred. That probably was not in the dragon's best interest. That was done of their own accord because they're like, oh man, these cool things that we made dying because they're not immortal like us. That kind of sucks. Let's give them super permanent memory. I don't think the Spires were consulted on that. Possibly if they had been, they would have been like, I could see where that might be a problem down the line.
I feel like this was some serious malicious compliance somewhere along there. If it's not it's not outright stated, but it's not outright stated, but like, look, the Spires were probably around, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like it's one of those things that's
considering how open, it's not really implied. It's. I think you're reading pretty deep into it, and I would say that normally the story is very, very generous when it comes to pointing out when the Spires were being dickheads. And in the absence of such clear tells, I really struggle to attribute that to like, aha, they fell for our clever ruse, Keikaku Dori, like. All according
like, again, this is not so much a clever ruse. It's more like well, we're not going to stop you from doing something that probably is going to work. Like, it's probably not in your best interest. So, like, whatever. And then it just happened to work out. Like,
are we having a memory war right now? Are we doing it? Are we Dweghoming?
We're doing this thing.
Oh man,
We're getting into it.
We're really Dwegmaxing right now, guys and girl. I'm not deleting this.
I don't know. Either way, the dragons, through their own hubris, fucked up, and the spires did not stop them. Like, that's essentially the core of it.
After a certain point, they got rid. They didn't need the spires anymore. They kind of fucked off. They created their own. Some of the greatest biomancers were in fact dwarves.
Wait, what?
I think it's if I can remember correctly. I think so. Fenner is the living metal dwarf. I think it's Reagan. I think it's Oder is the last surviving dwarven biomancer from Helheim.
Wow.
And he was basically his whole shtick in Helheim is basically he created a bunch of clone bodies to do more stuff, but as he kind of slowly went crazy over time, all the dragons dying, now all the clones think they're the real one, and when they're not unified by a common goal to fuck over someone else, they're like plotting each other's demise so that they can be the real boy.
That's awesome, though.
Oh yeah, no, like Helheim's lore goes hard. It's great. I'm really sad that they lost to Sorcerer Kings.
Yeah, but aren't you playing Sorcerer Kings right now? So like
a little bit. They're okay.
I'm kind of sad about Sorcerer Kings in general.
The thing that makes me sad about Sorcerer Kings is that until they can figure out a way to really, really, really encourage like gameplay, it's basically you're stuck collecting 4 different fucking factions in one, because basically you want like each court to kind of be its own thing for them, at least as it currently stands, which means that you basically have to collect 4 full armies worth of playing if you want to get the most out of it. It's like, oh my god.
Sorcerer Kings makes me regret playing this game, I'm not gonna lie.
I already have like 6 boxes of Efreet. I don't want 6 boxes of Jin. I don't want 6 boxes of Eternals. I don't want 6 boxes of Marids. Please God, set me free.
Nope. You gotta buy more horse. You gotta have 4 boxes every horse in 100k.
Yeah, but that's for one single army. I have to do that 4 times for Sorcerer Kings, and I'm like, man, this is for the birds.
Yeah, you're kind of fucked there, man.
Right. Sub-factions.
Oh, okay, cool. Who's our first guy?
We have the clans.
Like the Wu-Tang clan?
Sure, let's go with that.
Oh man, I'm gonna get my hold Ray to be a sick rapper after this.
So and this is where everything just falls apart rapidly, because this is where I know very little of the clans. Basically, as I understand it, the clans are kind of like the Dweghom that are probably the closest thing they have to civilians, although they don't quite. They have those, but not quite.
Aren't they just a bunch of like North Koreans? So everyone's like a fighter or something.
Basically, there's not going to be anyone that's not really a fighter. In Dwarven society, the act of like having to labor and create things is kind of seen as an affront. It's basically kind of being like, hey, remember when you were a slave to the dragons? That's basically what you're doing now. Fuck you.
Don't they punish their criminals by making them do manual labor?
I think so.
They're like, back into the mines with you. No, I only stole the bread roll. Yep, that's still theft.
But you have a lot of people, basically grinding for that Ogham coin. Ogham is basically...
Can we talk about Ogham? Like, what is that?
That's exactly what I'm trying to get into. So Ogham is basically kind of like, social currency. It's basically your worth. Yeah, it's your worth to society. Basically the Nemancers have like a big fucking codex. So they're like, okay, for each rank of society and each deed, here's like how much Ogham that like basically translates into. Unsurprisingly, being a society that kind of eschews craftsmanship and really glorifies war and fighting, it should be pretty easy to determine what they value for Ogham. Most Dweghom will probably end up being a fighter in some way, shape, or form. Even a like a lowly scrub civilian will probably be a very capable fighter by like any other faction standards. They're kind of raised in like anyone taken from Dweghom society and taken on by the clans is basically just dumped into a communal like kind of like Dweghom like soldier kindergarten, I guess, and raised as little else as than a soldier to the clan until they can prove themselves as something better than that.
Can you imagine like a baby like swindled pulls out a knife and just shanks you after you're done fighting it like a Dweghom moving party? And you're like, oh, it stabbed me.
I just imagine like Dweghom Brock Lesnar just boxing Dweghom babies for like training every day.
He's gotta toughen up those kids.
Yeah.
Isn't this basically like the Spartan system?
Yeah.
But like real wide?
Basically there's no inheritance. Anything that all wealth and like material goods that you possess are gained through Agam and proving yourself, and upon your death it's entombed with you as a testament to how cool you were. So basically, if you want to have anything in life, you've got to earn it through just being a badass or contributing to the Dweghom in some way that they recognize and care about.
So they're just a bunch. They're just communists. But you get to keep your stuff when you die.
Yeah.
Boy, we're bouncing all over the place here with these comparisons.
Not exactly communists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very strange interpretation of communism.
I was going to say that's a bold take, but I won't fight it.
Exactly.
They're incredibly competitive. They love issuing challenges to each other. But yeah, that's kind of the clans. In a very broad nutshell that doesn't go into enough detail, but that's the best you're getting out of me.
That's fine.
They're wide subterranean Spartans, is what I took from that.
Sure. I know a little bit more about the Ardent and the Tempered just because they're a little they're a little more defined in terms of very easy high-level pitches. The Ardent, they really fucking love war.
Even more than the regular Dweghom?
Yes, they basically are. Well, they're ardent about it. They basically saw war as their salvation and their, uplifting to something better. War is basically freedom to them. It is what got them out from underneath the servitude to the dragons. It is it's a way of life. Life is a struggle. War is a way of life.
So when you say they love war, could you say that war makes them hard?
Go on, Steve. Answer the question.
You have to take a position one way or the other.
Hard to say. I was gonna say that would be a better joke with the Tempered because they have the Earth Sorcerers that can like harden your skin, but the Tempered are kind of like, this whole thing with war might have screwed us.
They actually have self-thought and realization.
There is individuality in the Dweghom. It's just
cool guys.
Individuality is not at all valued by the by Dweghom society. Is the problem?
Does being an individual get you more Nope. Guess we don't care about that.
Yeah, you keep that shit to yourself, just like your feelings and your thoughts, and just bottle it all
dropout. Get the fuck out of here.
Kill ass society.
You hippie nonsense trying to convert Dweghom from its warlike ways.
Yes, but the Ardent ride the violent currents of war pride, equating any sort of craft aside from this with their millennial slavery dragons. They are trained from a young age in martial craft, tested to their very limits and beyond the preparation for the descent, a pilgrimage following the footsteps of their ancestors to the throne of war in the deepest bowels of the earth. So basically they're super ornery, super eager to fight, and war is freedom. And almost engaging as war is almost a sacred act to them. And they fully accept and embrace and encourage the embrace of war to further their people. Which stands in stark contrast to the Tempered. Basically, very powerful sorcerers, usually people that are Dweghom that are very imbued with the gifts of fire and earth, and the most skilled among them have ascended to blending those to have metalmancy. Problem is that they kind of realized that during the breaking of War's prison and then the shattering, they may have kind of siphoned a little too much power off of the throne. Basically allowing War to finally break free and roam unshackled since, and as such, Aya will no longer know a peaceful existence. They're kind of
oh my god, what the fuck?
They're kind of like,
not an
oh
option.
shit, we fucked up real bad, didn't we? So whereas the Arden are like full on like, yeah, no, war is great. War kind of sucks, and it's really kind of holding us back because, like, we're constantly fighting with anyone that looks at us wrong, fighting with ourselves, we're fighting with each other, we're fighting, like, just anyone and everyone for any reason. Maybe our initial plans were kind of flawed, and maybe we need to kind of, like, try the best to, like, temper our gifts so that they don't, like, destroy us from within. Literally, in some cases, if they're not very good at managing their elemental gifts, some of them will just like spontaneously combust and die, or they'll like just turn into stone and be like, well, I guess I'm just stone forever now and I'm fucking dead. They kind of use the metal man steel shapers to create powerful grafts to kind of help channel and vent these energies in ways that will allow them to better control their gift and not cause damage to themselves or others. There's a very fun example of how powerful this can be, like in the Mystiga storyline. A Dweghom hold is being besieged by a Mystiga swarm, and a Tempered sorcerer is kind of like, "Do you think we can hold them off?" And no, buddy, no, sir. There's no chance. Like, all right, well, I guess I know what I have to do. So he just pops his little gauntlet out of his arm that's like modulating himself. Basically turns himself into a living bomb and just kills fucking everything in the tunnel that was under siege.
Damn, dude.
In another fun example, in the very ongoing Living World story, you have an initiate that returned from the for ritualistic visiting of the Throne of War. She happened upon an ancestor while she was there, and now she's trying to keep it secret from the Nemancers, and she's like meeting with them in secret, and she's like, here, I brought you this really cool graft, maybe it'll make you less likely to burst into flames. And in the recent story update, he was basically like, yeah, we really need to get everyone to stop fighting and get their shit together because there's bad shit on the way. Oh, by the way, I'm about to explode, you should probably run. I can't control my powers. And the community decided to see what would happen. It's like, oh, she'll be super brave, and she's going to take this and try to jam the implant into him to, stop him from blowing up. He was burning so hot that the implant melted and it basically melted her arm off. And then he's like, well, that was stupid of you. I told you to fucking run. Anyway, get your stumping gear and let's roll.
Wow, gotta love Dweghom, just melting arms off.
The Metal Mancers and the Metal Mages are basically like the highest pinnacle of the Tempered. The interesting thing about Steel Shapers is that reflected in their rules, I've basically described them as like very, very high level autistic, where basically they're not really they're basically not social cues or people trying to talk to them. They just get to free decline duels because they don't care. They're just in their own little world doing metal stuff. They're so hyper focused that their spells just go off on their own units without even having to roll for it. They're just so doing what they're doing.
They've mastered the art of hyperfixation.
Basically,
Carl should take notes.
Hyperfixation, no eye contact, and not responding to verbal cues.
Sounds kind of awesome.
But some of them are basically turning into like living metal, and they've basically reached an understanding of their gifts and the elements. Not that several of them are kind of starting to be like, oh, this whole war thing's kind of obfuscating a lot of like deeper issues that we really should be addressing. Like we need to like shake these people out of like their weird war fixation and like get them ready for what's to come, because like bad shit's on the horizon.
Is the what section is the lost ancestor part of? Is he just in his own, or is he like clans Ardent or Tempered?
So that's not really answered by the lore book, but if I go to this is great radio. If I go to the store page,
It just tells us there.
let's see. When the ancestors broke the prison of war to empower their kin that they might cast off their shackles, they knew their efforts would doom them to the same eternal prison the dragons had forged for the horsemen. The unprecedented arrival of these mythical heroes amongst the Dweghom populace at large galvanized many and threatened the already delicate balance of Dweghom society. Seeking to forestall an apocalyptic war that could only result in the destruction of the Dweghom, these venerated elders were chosen to earn the support of all in the most traditional manner possible, earning Agama on the battlefield.
By killing. Yo, we're just like you. We're just gonna kill more stuff.
We're gonna kill so hard that you have to listen.
Yeah.
But I think technically these guys were so these were the ancestors that basically, because of the Crafter genocide, if I'm not mistaken, and basically dedicated themselves to trying to like stave off destructions, attempts at either escaping its prison and kind of contributing to keep them sealed, or just fighting off all the nightmare shit that's like coming into existence around the core of the planet, making sure that doesn't like make its way to the surface to cause trouble. If I'm not mistaken, I very well could be. Again, the Dweghom is not really my
Your forte?
Yeah.
That's okay. You're doing great. I'm enjoying this.
Let's see. Many people who were believed lost to the descent had actually succeeded, joining their ancestors in the unending war against the forces of destruction, still seeking to release the third horseman. When the ancestors began ascending from the deep, the Dweghom across the world held their breath. Their ears rang with the weight of each single footstep. Where the Dweghom go next and how they will be reshaped, few can say, but one thing all can guess. The Dweghom are going to war. I'm noticing a trend with these guys. They seem to really like war.
It's gonna be that Pleaky Binders meme. No fighting, no fighting, no fighting.
All right. Now we get to the and the character stuff.
Well, hold on. There's a lore thing that I would like to know more information about. So, I got I forget what it is. It's the like campaign book or whatever, and in that there's like a Dweghom march. Can you explain what a Dweghom march is? Because it goes into like 3 phases. It goes to like a march, something, and then a campaign where they like basically move houses. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to make sure I don't screw this up. Oh no, there's a bunch of historical documents I didn't read either.
Read them quickly.
There's so many. Oh no. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, a march is basically a fun little gathering that the Dweghom would refer to, or it's what the Dweghom would refer to when they basically all just get together and like, cool, we found the common enemy, let's just unite in cause and just go fuck them up. A march is basically like the prelude to like a full-blown like all-out Dweghom war. If I remember correctly. I'm trying desperately to find the section that talks about it.
It's okay. I just remember the story being there were some spires, like researchers doing stuff, and some 100k guy was like, yes, spires in my area. I will kill them. And they got into a fight, and the spire biomancer who's in charge was like, hey, main spire, send some reinforcements. They're going to kill me. And the main spire's reinforcements are on their way, and it was like, aha, spire biomancer scum, I have you now. And then there was a horn blown or something over the ridge, and then like an entire Dweghom campaign was walking straight as they were moving houses, and they were like, "Oh God, this is terrible. We need to band together." And the Spires is like, "Yes, we will band together." The reinforcements arrived, and that Biomancer pieced out. He was like, "Haha, sucks to be you. I'm out of here. This place is terrible anyway." And that human, I think, like, he got slaughtered. His entire army got slaughtered by Dweghom.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, don't.
As one does.
Yeah, like supposedly, basically, when they're on campaign, just never like figure out which way they're going, and just don't cross the path, because for some reason they don't move around anything. They only march in a straight line and kill everything in between.
Let's see here. Do.
Not gonna edit this out. Woot, woot.
Yeah,
If you can't find it, it's fine, man.
Yeah, I'm struggling here. I've been derelict in my duties.
It's okay. Well, it just means there's more lore to talk about later about Dweghom. We're kind of just doing an overview, so.
Dweghom Part 2, the new batch.
Campaign Boogaloo. Oh God, they're killing us.
You know, we almost missed Boogaloo, but you know, everyone goes for Boogaloo. Judgment Day, the new batch, the Return of Jafar, Back in the all these other. Nope, it's Electric Boogaloo.
I appreciated the new batch. That was a good.
Like
That was Gremlins.
Break Into is a cultural touchstone reference at this point.
I just watched Boogie Nights. That's why I know that one. And Gremlins 2 and Judgment Day, but. Okay, tell us about the characters.
So this is really where things start to fall apart at an accelerated pace. So if I remember correctly, Adia is basically. I don't remember if she's a.
You don't have to. We could just go to regiment profiles and just talk about the weird lore in them. These, because like all these are stories we can do individual episodes on, or like combine them into stuff. Like, because Adia, Ruin of Strangers, is the short story of the lady who took back a hold by like knowing a secret passage and killing everyone inside.
Okay, so I think she's the Ray.
She is a Ray
of Gordon, and basically she continues kind of. Skirmishing against the nearby Spire. So yeah, basically, you know, she has scouts, you know, spy on them, lay ambushes, and then I guess the end of her little story. This is way back when. This is like season 1 stuff. But basically, she called upon, you know, the full strength of her host, I guess, to or her hold, and basically said that a host would be prepared and declared the beginning of an aimless campaign against the Spires. Alakanaros I know a little bit better, just because he was an ardent Karawa that got sick of his lame ass hold's fascination with Aga tradition, and basically said, man, the Dweghom are really never going to truly or martially. Just there's some feedback, I think, on the line.
Yeah, you broke up there a little bit on Alcanaros.
I think it's Alakanaros.
Alakanaros.
However you say it. He's an ardent Karawa, and he got sick of the lamos to grow as a people or as a culture, so he basically forged out on his own. A bunch of loyalists kind of went with him. It turns out that it's really hard to make a very conservative and warlike people like the Dweghom happy when trying to do something as difficult and lengthy as basically forging a new destiny for your people. So they very quickly got sick of his bullshit. He, you know, basically went and investigated like a Nord village and was kind of like, wow, there's no a bunch of people. And then a competing Nord's raid kind of invaded, and the people just immediately turned into like kill mode to defend their hometown, and he was kind of impressed by that. He was looking for the lost dragon blade that Ragadosh would eventually be kind of gifted by Eric Schur to get him to fuck off. But we'll get to that later. But basically, long story short, most of Alakhanaros's troops under his command decided that he wasn't cool enough anymore. There was no Ogden to be gained with him. They sawed it off, and as such, he's now left with a small but fiercely loyal contingent of followers, and they're basically gonna strike out as mercenaries.
Oh, cool. What was I gonna say about him and his whole thing here? I had it on the tip of my lip, and then you finished off, and I completely forgot. But like, is his story in the living world, or is it just like an article kind of thing for him?
It was a Living World series. If you go into season 1, you can read his exploits in detail.
Okay.
I have breaking news.
What's that?
The Terraphon has arrived.
Like, it's outside or what?
It's at game, not game night. It's at Amusing Games.
Oh, did they call you
So I'll
just right
pick it up
now?
tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Yeah, it's a good thing we're going there tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. Well, I go there every Sunday, so.
Well, yeah, you gotta play Bernie.
Yeah, someone's gotta whip him into shape.
Gotta make him good. Okay, back to our Dweghom, I guess, I don't know what to call this. Our regular scheduled event, or like programming.
Theoden, Reg of Galapagos. Galapagos. There we go. We made it.
It's the guy who stares at a dragon all day, right?
Well, he stares at a dragon because they basically built their entire fucking hold on top of a dragon, and they can actually mobilize the hold and make it march. And in doing what making the hold march entails is he goes to the dragon's eye, which is held open by like Hellraiser flesh hooks. It's crusted over with like pus and all sorts of horrible things, and he basically takes his axe and jams it into the eye to like break the pus crust, which causes the dragon to stir from slumber and start moving where he tells it to.
Oh God! They're like,
so that's a fun story.
We can build a hold on a strong foundation, or we can build on the back of this dragon and tell it to fucking walk around.
Yeah, well, all those other fucking idiots on a solid foundation don't get to have a walking hold now, do they?
Yeah. Howl's moving hold.
Ishkedros, I think is how you say that. He's basically a super badass tempered sorcerer, probably if I had to guess, probably a steel shaper at this point. He's the one that designed the Stoneforged. The Nords and the Wadroon basically got in a little skirmish outside of his tomb. He basically opened the gates and was like, "The fuck you kids doing on my lawn?" I think most of the Nords tried to book it.
They knew what was happening. They're like, not going to deal with this today.
One of the kind of, I think he's from, I don't remember which, was it Bukal? No, who was it? Yeah. We're doing stuff. This would be great for Matt.
It's okay. He'll be here for that episode for sure.
I think it was Quaddle. Cuatal, not like the bird one. Was a blacksmith for the cults in Wadroon, and he was kind of having a little weird crisis of faith, kind of being like, what does it mean to follow the goddess? What does it mean to listen to the Song of Steel and whatnot?
Not the the Song of Steel.
Ishkedros kind of like popped out of his dead, and basically they kind of spoke to each other, not necessarily through, nothing was really said. They kind of ignored the battle as it raged around them. The Dweghom forces were attacking everyone. The Nords were going crazy. The Wadroon were like flipping out, and basically these two were just sitting here, just having tea with each other and learning the trading their interpretation of steel and whatnot. And basically, the Steel Shaper and the War Scion, changed their people forever. The Ishkedros, imparted deeper knowledge about, the memory of metal and whatnot, and Quaddle kind of told about, the song of steel that comes with, the striking of the metal and forge and whatnot, and how it sings. We've learned.
I have a Dweghom question.
Uh-oh.
If their entire population and species is designed for war and just like really want to do war because that's what gets them on, who makes the weapon? Like, who makes all their clothes? Is that just all the people they have who are criminals make all the clothes and armor and stuff they have to wear, or what? Or do they actually put value towards that?
I don't have a good answer for that. I assume that it's probably the most cringe members of society that are subjected to that.
So the Dweghom weeaboos do it?
Sure, let's go with that. Let's not go with that one.
Dweghom tilts his fedora. My hold ray.
And basically, in the current living world story, just to save us from ourselves, Ishkedros is kind of trying to urge one of the Ardents to basically, she and her people need to get fucking ready because shit's about to hit the fan. Something real bad's coming, and they need to start preparing for it. And I'm a little disappointed in the community, truth be told. The Ardent and the Tempered basically hate each other because they're complete polar opposites as to how they should embrace war. The community was like, in the storyline, she's like, I really don't want to listen to this. He's a weird heretic by like Tempered standards. He's a fucking filthy Tempered sorcerer. Like, nothing is good about this guy. And then the community's like, she'll fight against all of her instincts and listen to what he has to say without attacking him. Like,
I had to stop with the community stuff because they just chose the wrong answer too many times.
Yeah, they like boring safe options apparently.
Exactly. I'm like, no, let's go for I will say and horror.
I was very pleased with the Quaddle story where it's like, oh, he has a little knife inside of food, or his fork, maybe he could escape, and they're just like, yeah, nah, he's peacing out. And I'm like, okay, that's actually entertaining.
It's like playing D&D with like a party who's like, it's like, oh, there's like a crazy monster, and they're like, oh, well, we better avoid it then, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Stealth is an option.
It's so crazy. What if it kills us? It's like, yeah, but like,
what if you kill it and take its loot? We could die. Exactly.
No loot could be more valuable than our lives. It's like, motherfucker, you can get red. Make that into a fucking... It's like, people nowadays are like, oh my god, what if my character dies? It's like, then new plot hook. We're gonna revive your fucking character. Gotta get the reagents for it. Like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Man, the way that I run it, I'm like, cool. So it's like, people will pop in, and they're like, oh, I have a backstory. I'm like, yeah, cool. You know what your backstory is? The first 5 sessions. That's your backstory. Actually, your backstory is. It doesn't fucking matter.
They show up with like 20 pages about how they're like, some noble scion and this training. Bro, you're a level 1 fighter. Come on now, you're not that cool.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. Well, like, let's see what like random starting gear you have. Yeah, okay, like, cool. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, your character can canonically believe all of that, but it doesn't fucking matter, and it's not necessarily true. And your backstory always becomes the first, like, just de facto, the shit that people remember is not the shit that you wrote down; it's what you did. So I have a hard policy.
Tragically, you don't just start out as the specialist little boy in the campaign.
Yeah, you gotta risk. You gotta have some skin in the game. Yeah, I'm like, well, look, unless you do it in game, it's not real. Like, it's not verifiable. Like, everybody else could be like, yeah, but you're actually just a homeless grifter who thinks you're like, whatever, some like special noble or whatever. Like, nobody gives a shit. But like, you could be like some actual like homeless scum, but if you like risk your life to do something cool. In my games, it's usually not something that's especially good, but like if you do something that's really cool, you will be remembered as a hero forever.
Then you'll become a legend.
Yeah, well, when I grafted a giant's arm onto his back and then like tried to elbow drop it like down basically a mining shaft and he like missed
Oh, no.
and like that was that was quite memorable and yeah. So even if you fuck up, at least if you try to do something, it's probably going to be cool.
Let's see. The next one. I think Mass had questions about this, but Ray Ragadosh from the Faces of Stone campaign with Eric Schur, the first of the campaign packs. If I remember correctly, his general thing was he's trying to, kind of consolidate power as as Ray of his whole. I forget if his power, influence had been waning, and he wanted to kind of pick me up. Long story short, he found out that one of the local idiots in the 100 Kingdoms in a nearby kingdom, basically a big theist guy, consummate fuck up, had gotten his hand on a dragon blade and was basically parading it around as a holy relic. He figured, this would be a great way to kind of get myself some newfound kid points. I'm gonna get my sacred back from this dipshit. The 100 Kingdoms decided to task Eric Schur from the Imperial Courts, I want to say. Mass, help me here.
Imperial Remnants.
Imperial Remnants.
Or the Imperial Enclave. It's just like the overarching government that keeps everything together because they control the Mint and the War College. It's like they're two big things, and there's a steward who sits. I don't know if he sits technically on the throne or if he like Gondors it on a smaller throne right below it. But basically, there's the Imperial Steward who's like basically in charge of overall keeping the 100K together and having a unified currency and also controlling where people learn stuff. Kind of keeps that in check so he still has power.
All right. But he basically was, Ragadosh was ready to roll up on this this noble dipshit's, big parade and basically take his sword back by force. Schur is sent in to make sure that the Dweghom don't fucking kill the entire town and burn it down, piss out the ashes. Schur ended up winning, and I don't know if the writers fully intended for that to happen, but the end result being that Schur basically gave them the dragon sword and told them to fuck off and never bow.
Well, that's nice of him.
Of course, there's a big difference to the Dweghom between killing everyone and getting your cool sword back versus getting your ass kicked and getting the sword as a pity prize and being told to fuck off. I don't think they were super impressed by Ragadosh's showing. So probably going to be something he's kind of got to work through on his own time.
Are you telling me he has to go and like take some courses at like Factor or something? Learn anything on Factor. Pretty sure that's right.
It's basically the war equivalent of like opening a phishing email and
Factor is meals. Shit.
A fucking security course.
He's sent to like remedial violence camp.
What do they do? Like master classes? There's always like people doing.
They just like throw you in the gladiator pit every day.
Gotta get you better, boy. Use coupon code Dweghom Remedial Project to get 10% off your Factor meals. So you can stay fed while you do your work.
Eric Schur was actually really fun, though. So what had happened is basically, the city, everyone was bursting into flames. People like, blackened silhouettes from like the heat of the flames, cut down. The idiot Baron, there we go. Cushborough, consummate fuck up, was basically just waving the sword around, like trying to. So Eric Schur realized, oh, that's what they want. So he, Baron, punched him out, took the sword, and just basically threw it at the guys.
So he threw this. Okay.
The recovery of the blade ensured the continuation of his reign, but while he had retrieved the relic, the ray had still lost to a mere human. He no longer seemed untouchable, and the seeds of doubt planted by his competitors had once more fertile ground to grow. He remained leader of this hold, but clans seemed less inclined to unite and follow grander ventures. So now that we've gotten past the boring ones, we get to my favorite story, which is from the Awakening Old Dominion event. Funny how that would be of interest to me. But it really is one of my favorite stories in this event. Basically, two of the higher ups of the Old Dominion were trying to do a ritual, one of them trying to steer the ritual towards giving them ironclad control. Old Dominion, reanimated. The other trying to grant a renewed sense of self and self-determination to the undead, freeing them from kind of being shambling husks. The community did happen to vote perfectly down the line, so both. But to complete the ritual, they were sent to all the different factions to gather resources, which seemed to either be a living priest of some sort or a relic. And the Dweghom one is particularly fun. So basically, we find our forgotten Dweghom tomb of Gobble Dome, and there's basically just a tempered sorcerer standing vigil here, the graves of his people. When a procession of Old Dominion priests and soldiers rolls up. So of course he's like, "Oh man, walking undead, this is bullshit." So he basically is like, "I would pass judgment in the name of my clan, but it seems the death's already taken you. Turn back, or else I'm just gonna fuck you up for real, and not in a way that you'll come." And the leader of this procession just goes, "Why, me, your buddy?" And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, "No, remember? I seem to remember a, dear sorcerer, I never invited you. How the fuck does this thing know my name? I never said anything."
Sorry, you cut out there for a moment.
What was the last thing I said?
I don't remember you.
It was like, "Dear sorcerer," and then it cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, so the Old Dominion priest just goes, "Oh, stay your judgment, sorcerer Ravid. I was invited here by you, and I'm owed a favor. I never invited anything as horrible as you in here. Also, this thing know my name. I never said my name." And then he's like, "But I was. I remember this. A handful of survivors of your clan offering kindness to his enemies. In exchange, an invitation given and a favor owed." And he's like, "Oh shit, the human priest? Pietus?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's me, your buddy." He's like, "But you died. You guys have the lifespan of a mosquito or something." And he's like, "Yeah, stuff happened, and now I'm back, and now I'm here to collect on that oath that you swore to me as your good friend." And he's like, "I know that we as Dweghom really place a lot of our honor maintaining those blood oaths, but at the same time, we generally would only make them to a human on the condition that you have a lifespan of 2 weeks or something, and you'd just kind of die, and we wouldn't have to fulfill it. So you really kind of put me in a weird position here." So the priest is basically
you put you in a weird position.
And he's like, "I'm not asking for a lot. I think your Nemancer's name was this so and so. Yeah, just give us them. Or a scroll. I don't really or a scroll of your memories. I don't really fucking care. One or the other." And he's like, "I will give you neither." And he's like, "We're not at war yet, and we don't have to be. The day's coming, but again, you got 20 dudes in here, max. We can sense them, don't worry about it. Nemancer, scroll, or we fucking kill you." And he's like, "On second thought, that scroll of memories sounding pretty agreeable right about now. How about I just give you that and you just go far, far away?"
He had to haggle again.
Just a fun little exchange where the guy's like, "Oh, come on now, you gave me your word. surely your word means something like when weighed against your Ogham, right? And the guy's like, that's like the fucking Uno reverse card. God damn it.
Poor guy. No, that one is good.
But I really like the Old Dominion stories because, like, with the absence of like a time constraint on human life, you get like really fun stuff. Like, I can't wait until we do the Old Dominion chapter and I can talk about the very literal arms race between the Morticians guilds.
So the Petitions guilds?
Morticians.
Oh, wait. They're having a fight over who can like put people in the grave or like wrap them up?
No, as the Anointed are consolidating their powers and like creating their personal armies, they're basically raiding like tombs and like mortuaries and like stealing arms and limbs to like repair their soldiers. And then the Morticians are like, man, what the fuck? You're desecrating corpses. We got this one motherfucker. He's trying to row in his coffin. He doesn't got no arms. Like, you need to cut this shit out right now or we're just gonna fucking guild and fucking fight back against this bullshit because we didn't sign up for any of this. Good old Dominion.
Literally fighting over arms is quite awesome.
Well, I think we've covered most of the normal stuff. Now I guess we can finally make it to the like regiment character entries.
Pick one that you like. Who do you think is interesting?
Do we want to do characters first, or just kind of whatever? Or?
I don't know. I feel like we kind of covered the characters, like the art and like. Do we need to go into more detail about them, or what do you, Skillen, Cass? What do you two think?
I'm gonna say dealer's choice.
Wow.
I will say that we are going on. I think. What time did we start? Is it an hour and a half in, or is it 2 hours?
We currently have an hour and a half of recorded content.
I guess we can start with the regiment.
Just do regiments. We have an idea what the characters are based upon like the lore that's from named characters.
Yeah, I feel like we have a good overview of what the characters are about. Like talking about their stats is like not that exciting.
No, we're not talking about the stats. We're talking about their like lore significance or like kind of something interesting about them.
The lore blurbs that they have on the lore page.
Yeah, because that's really all they give these guys.
Okay, let's see. We'll start with everyone's favorite, the dragons. The poor dragon slayers.
I've only heard legends of these. I've never encountered one in person.
2 wound dragon slayers are a menace.
Yeah, 2 wounds. They could get to like defense 5 or 6 or something. Bullshit. They basically just didn't die, and then they just killed you. That was a wild time. Clad in armor, forged in a bygone age when dragon was the greatest threat to a warrior. Every vulnerable part of a dragon slayer is covered in alloys not seen since the breaking of the world. The weapons they bear were used by their ancestors to pierce the nigh invulnerable hides of the elder dragons. Forged from adamantine and now quenched in dragon blood, no mortal armor could hope to withstand a blow. They are entrusted with the greatest heirlooms of their hold, weapons that are part of the living memory of their people's greatest trial and triumph. Only the greatest of Thanes could hope to aspire to the rank of Dragon Slayer, and no single Dweghom, not even the eldest Demancers, has the standing to recommend the elevation of a Thane to the ranks. They must be chosen either by unanimous acclaim of their peers, their valor and prowess so indisputable that even the greatest of the Dweghom warriors would not contest the ascendance to this elite force. Boy, that sure doesn't translate into the current rules.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cleave 3 for like the greatest like reality-rending weapons ever devised. Okay.
Surprise, idiot! I'm playing Nords and I'm Evasion 2 across the board. Get fucked.
Whoop, 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 dodge. These were written in a time when this mattered, but it has changed a lot. Yeah.
I mean, look, Avatara just get flawless strikes for inspiring. Like, the shrimp just always has flawless strikes. I don't know. Or not always has smite, rather.
Then we have the Fireforged. These guys are, from the sound of it, basically Dweghom with the gift of fire, who are not cool enough to become tempered sorcerers. So instead, they get a big special metal pipe over their shoulder, and they're supposed to channel their fire energies into it, so that it basically shoots out a big old fucking fireball at people.
They're totally not gun shoulder cannons.
Rocket
Well,
doors.
they're not guns because they don't use black powder, but yeah, basically they're just stuffing their fire magic into a metal tube and just kind of directing it out. Their powers are too great to be contained through exercise and meditation alone, but lack the mental discipline or ambition to complete sorcerer training. The implantation of techno-sorceress grafts that serve as vents for the overflowing power will help them tame their gift. The vents, interfacing directly with the body and primordial essence of each Dweghom, are personalized devices crafted and implanted by Still Shapers, who are the only casters capable of such deep understanding of the energies involved and fine control of powers. Military force comprised of those Dweghom who possess a strong affinity for fire. So basically they got a blast cannon, and it's a scaled down design of the Hellbringer cannons, and they draw and shape the gift and just kind of poop it out at people at high velocity.
I want to replace
These guys are one of the real.
rivals.
These guys are like the real menace of the Dweghom in a lot of ways.
They are somewhat scary, yeah. That I think is AP2.
It is AP2.
Yeah, that AP2 shot.
High volume AP2. Was it range 14? And you could just have a bunch of these fuckers running around. That's what makes them scary. It's just like, oh, there's a lot of them, and they have high volume.
It is a little less. It's scary once you realize that their defense is kind of high with their little, like, almost imperceptible little arm shield, cozy thing, whatever it is. They're not super scary in combat with their whopping attack 3.
No, but man, if they're within effective range, and can take aim, you're getting fucked.
Don't let that happen. That's a bad idea. That's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
The main issue is that they take a long time to kill, and there's usually like a bunch of them, so it's kind of like, oh, if one unit isn't like engaged, then it's just kind of like, cool, well, we're just gonna shoot you off of our homies, and then the homies shoot you off of their homies, and then it becomes like this fucking railgun effect of just getting murdered. It's not fun.
Are you speaking from experience?
I don't know, Mass. Am I?
I love just popping Fireforge to people. It's so fun.
So another favorite of yours that we can now go to, the Flame Berserk.
Oh yeah, the best boys, A tier.
So basically, where you have the fucking nerds and the tempered, they're like, oh no, this fire will consume me. I need to use these grafts to make sure I don't die, and can live in relative peace. They're like, no, that's fucking pussy shit. I'm gonna let it slowly leach into my physical body and just basically be on fire all the time and die a cool kid death that's honorable and warlike.
Bro, just deal with it. It's fine. It's nothing.
Even in the face of death, any other path is an insult to the very ancestors who released them from slavery. Among the ardent, Flame Berserkers are a small brotherhood who, gifted beyond their peers with raw power for the element of fire, do not seek to master or tame it, but rather embody it. For most, this transition happens during the descent, a trial of passage all ardent must complete to prove their devotion. The stress and danger of the ordeal often awaken their gift. Their bodies, their weapons, some say their very souls are set ablaze once its power is unleashed. They abandon the kin band that they traveled with, striking off into the deeper darkness, with no one at their side, but the power raging within them. Most of them die. But some of them that survive are instinctively guided to the deeper depths of the darkness. None of them will speak of what happens in the deep, but they return changed. Their bodies sport crude implants that compensate for those losses they have suffered to foe or flame, while their obsidian arms and what little armor they bear are impervious to the fire and heat they generate. In their mind, the trade is favorable. Life for glory, time for worth. Yeah, so
These guys meth addicts? God
live
damn.
live hard, die hard, kill hard, I guess.
Yeah, they're doing that, that's for sure. Anyway, these guys are great. I love them. They're so much fun. You just run them forward and you're like, get them, boys. Get them with the flame bazookas.
Deal with it,
Goon
idiot.
it.
I just imagine that they all sound like the bombhead enemy from.
From what? You cut out again. Sorry, man.
The enemy from Serious Sam, where it's like
Oh.
it's the bombhead one, and it just runs at you, just screaming.
Yeah.
Except now there's like 12 of them all at once.
Oh man, I think one of the best feelings with flame berserkers is when your opponent is like, okay, is your front line done moving? And they're like, yes, and then you activate your flame berserkers and run all 4 of them right up to your opponent, and then be like, all right, next turn, and it's like win or lose supremacy. They're getting hit by 4 units of flame berserkers.
Yeah, danger hugs, motherfucker.
Yeah, and you're just like, you just watch them just start falling apart because it's like, man, no matter where they go, a flame berserker is trading for advantage.
I was going to say, I also know that I don't know if it's a normal tech piece to run, probably not because it's Chuck, but Chuck likes running Memory of Breath on one of the Ardents, so one of them is AOD7. It's just like, forgot to tell you, this one's extra spicy.
Yeah, if there's points for it, it's a good upgrade, especially the Tenacious one. It just keeps them going a little longer, and you're like, oh, please stop. What's the next one we got on here? Hold Ballistae, better Merc crossbows. More expensive, but also Merc crossbows.
Yeah, basically, they're in the clans. They're given a little hand ballista and a little shield, and they're told to shoot things until they stop moving.
It works every time.
Those motherfuckers.
I want to say that they don't view this super highly because it's. I don't think it's kind of like a coronate kind of thing, where it's like ranged combat. But I do think there was at least some element of like, if you're not actually in your opponent's face watching the light leave their, not quite as cool, a little less Ogham for you. But I think that when you have an entire like regiment of these guys just all putting bolts through people's chests, I think that a grudging approval is kind of given by the community and by the system to be like, okay, that was kind of
the battlefield experience is, hey, look at this big line of these idiots standing in front of a Drake, and then you're like, oh, cool. Surely they can't be that bad. And then you realize that their AP1 range, like, isn't it 18?
It's fucking 18 inches.
And then you're like, oh, and it's like, oh, they also get a lot of shots. Oh, and by the way, they just don't die, right? You just
also
can't kill them.
For good measure, you may or may not have popped a magma, a Herald of Magma in there, so that now that form is also on fire, belching out like gouts of magma that are just gonna fuck you if you do try to go into them.
And then you get Pyroclast later, because why not?
So yeah, these idiots are an absolute menace. They're kind of like the hard wall of the Dweg in practice, and yeah, they're real annoying to deal with.
I'll go out of order a tiny little bit, it's basically the same thing as Hold Ballistae, but Hold Warriors. Same kit, same difference, except they trade out their little hand ballista for a sharp. I hesitate to call that a sword or an axe. It's kind of neither. I guess just a sharp piece of metal on a stick.
The swacks.
That's what happens when you have no crafters. It's like, man, we gotta like scrounge up anything we could find.
I guess it's kind of it's kind of like a utility weapon. It can stab like a dagger, can chop like a hook to pull shield.
The dude's just fighting with his kitchen knife.
I need to pull a picture of these things out.
It's like a Chinese military multi-tool. Hold Thanes as my internet struggles to. There we go. So the Thanes are the truly gifted warriors amongst the Dweghom, individually recognized by their valor, prowess, in battle. Each Thane is armed and equipped with the best weaponry a hold forges can produce.
Oh, they do make stuff. That's good.
Oh yeah, no, I think the Tempered oversee that. There's a story about like the forge or something, and the forge master kind of just getting like this crazy glint in his eye or thing. But yeah, they're basically
the fortress moment.
they're the elite forces of the holds and the clan. Yeah, they're okay now. I guess they're not that great now.
No, like people are like, "Oh, Chuck, Indiana GT." It's like, no. You don't understand. Chuck is a different beast. You don't understand.
Yeah, he's signed some dark
War Machine pack, and it's been paying off dividends in other games.
The difference between you and Chuck is that you are not Chuck.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, he siphoned all my luck away.
I keep hearing about that in your dice, where they're like, Chuck did something to Steve's dice.
Look, that was the pact that he signed. I have hair and I don't have good dice. He doesn't have hair.
Yeah, watch out for bald people. They're good at games.
I just remembered something really funny about the game I played last night. Man, you know how my avatar go cockroach mode?
Yeah, fuck you.
I had a lot of avatar, and they were all going cockroach mode, and those Vanguard clones just were also not dying. It was amazing. I was like, oh, the strategy of simply don't die is paying off.
Just roll good. What's your strategy? I just crawled, and then somehow it worked. I made it.
No, the strategy is pack in like 64 wounds that are hiding behind armor 4, resolve 4, evasion 2, and just let sheer weight of numbers carry the day.
If you just go wound maxing, that's the new strategy.
Yeah, as much as Spires can, it doesn't do it as well as other factions, but we make up for it by having everything also has evasion, but you can just pack in like a ton of them. With the evasion, the resolve 4, I think, is like kind of decisive.
Spires talk on the Dweghom chat. This is
Spire's
Brian.
name, so like it's their fault anyway.
I suppose that's the cop-out answer.
Thanks.
That's why Skillen will be on every episode.
Skillen's here because he's an intern. We need someone to print money.
Initiates. Basically, they are the initiate, the Ardent Creed. They want to show up on the battlefield and poke people with big pointy sticks before they go on the probably all die. But yeah, when you encounter someone on the battlefield, Dweghom, they're either going to be battle-hardened veterans who have devoted themselves to military service, or lacking experience, they instead make up for it with ambition and sheer ruthlessness. So either way, not a fun opponent to have to put up.
It's like take your kid to work day, and then you just give him a big shield to keep him safe.
So
learn, damn it, learn!
When I showed up to the learn to play day, I was watching 2 people play, and one guy was just using Dweg to just steamroll the other faction. I'm pretty sure it was Old Dominion. And yeah, I was just watching these stupid initiates waddle up, take a charge, and then another unit would just charge into the flank and clear it off, and it happened 4 times in a row, and I was like, huh. Interesting game.
I should play this. Okay, tell us about the Magma Forge, these cool boys.
So basically, Magma is kind of like the cool metal mancy. It's a blending of fire and earth, just, for people that weren't in the advanced classes. So basically, they get their cool grafts so that they can do magma shit and kind of turn into magma without turning into a charred pile of bones and bubbling flesh. And yeah, basically they direct that heat outwards, and that's why they have Aura of Death. They swing axes really hard.
Seems nice. Do they do anything else? I heard they were like guardians of the temple or something on top of that. But that might have been old lore. I'm not exactly sure.
That may have been the stone, the original Stone Forged, and or the Stone Sentinels. The latter of which totally don't exist.
Oh, that's right.
Because they were busted. They were simultaneously busted as shit, and also, yeah. No, actually, I take it back. They weren't bad. They were actually just stupid. They were like defense a billion. They could start halfway up the table if there was fucking garrison terrain, which gave them...
Because they would like tunnel underneath and pop out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Wow, let's just combo all the worst rules together.
Yeah, good thing that stopped. Good thing that's still continuing, but elsewhere.
Then you have Wardens. They're basically hyper-fanatical Ardent who aren't really making use of their elemental gift, and instead they just give them 2 axes, 1 for each hand, and they just get really pissed off. They just swing until break the bow.
Wow, there. Okay, that's a comma. Hold on, I'm just gonna try and figure out how short this is. 1 sentence. This is a 2-sentence description for these guys. They have no lore.
There's not a lot to work with there. I kind of had to improvise.
I gotta make this cool. It's like no. You can just say they don't have any lore. They were like they were like pickaxe, axe, dwarves. This will be great. Where do we put them?
Oh Jesus, this is a long one. The black sheep. Inferno Automata.
This is where the Warden lore went.
Well, this is back when they had like 3 models on release.
Yeah.
The Tempered kit, the Ballista Warrior kit, and then I think that was fucking it. So they had to really flesh those out to make to make it last until they could do new stuff.
The OG Parabellum design was something like, throw out a couple units of line infantry, and then like 1 other unit and a character or 2, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. Something like that, right?
Ish.
Right.
So basically in the Dragon Rooks, the dragons had basically a lot of elemental constructs that they had created. And they powered these things with primordial shards. So basically, they'd stuff them in there and channel their powers to create a tool of labor. Eventually, they went to the Tempered Sorcerers, who kind of did some research about how exactly mechanisms work. And they basically repurposed them to fill the needs of the Dweghom people, which is to say they're now war machines. So they became the heart and soul of the holds, too valuable to risk in war, although their potential was easily viable. Dweghom attempts to copy them for battle were met with limited success initially. Fueled only by elemental cores, these were originally passive with a strong territorial instinct. Eventually, one particularly inspired, or insane, sorcerer struck on the idea of forging a core with a sentience of its own. He forged a core fed from a fire from the bones and remains of those creatures who prowled destruction's heart, imbuing the construct with a dark and violent sentience. Savage, deadly, and driven by a dark, haunting intellect. I'm dyslexic now. The Inferno Automata soon prowled the battlefield. Their steel and stone bodies encase a raging furnace that burns the smoldering remains of a beast of destruction. Weakened by defeat, this demonic spirit is bound to the towering metal frame, infusing the automaton with a cruel intellect and unfettered aggression of the nurtured spirit within. Steel and stone warp and buckle under a baleful influence of this infernal passenger, granting their demonic visages and...
So they're just full of demons. That's what they're using destruction for. They're like, yo, we need more fuel for these robots. Go down there and get some.
Basically, they take destruction. They take destruction tainted critters. They beat the shit out of them. They stuff their essence into these horrible, stupid little automata, and then basically just have them kind of ambulate around. They get unceremoniously killed.
That makes him sound way more metal than like I don't know. I was always like I always just see them on like, oh hey, look at these little goobers.
Oh yeah, no, like everything the Dweghom do is metal. It's just that this is one instance where it at one point it did translate very well. It hasn't in a little while, and that's a bit sad because they're really those abilities. So like, you can have them be, you can have them break dancing, you can have them popping and locking, you can have them, doing cartwheels and shit. It's great.
Don't worry,
the actual models are not especially intimidating.
Yeah,
They have sharp claws and angry teeth, and they're on fire. What more?
yeah,
That's like everything in Conquest, though.
There's just no pleasing some people.
These guys are cute.
These guys are cute. God, get out of here and your biomancy nonsense. They're full of demons.
Well, speaking of cute, we now come to the danger of Steel Forged. So basically, as a continuing trend, if it has the forged suffix in its title, they're basically Dweghom that are not quite good at controlling their gift, and the Steel Forged need excessive amounts of grafts to not just kind of like burst into a grease fire, so they stuff them in these giant walking ovens, vent all the powers, and use the energy like Dr. Robotnik machine. And then they just kind of like scuttle across the battlefield and punch someone's head off their shoulders.
These guys, I kind of mentally refer to them as the Dweghom Beetles.
Wrong number of legs. Countless foes have been cut down, expecting a lumbering, clanking behemoth, only to be confounded by the speed and power of these lethal automata. So yeah, their excess primordial fire and earth is channeled into these grafts, and let them do crazy shit. And the fun thing is making them clash 5 every time they activate, and then fucking killing things.
They're speedy too, aren't they?
I think they're March 6, which does kind of set them apart a little bit.
That's fast for Dwegh.
Yeah, that is fast for Dweghom. Don't let the Hellbringer or the Ironclad Drake know at speed 7.
Yeah, that's maxing out.
Considering that they've got these squat little legs, yeah, that's pretty fucking quick.
This thing's running.
Yeah, just imagine them scuttling at like Mach speed.
They're just power walking like a bunch of like women from the 80s wearing like power suits. Walking around an office. Hellbringer Drake. So remember when they killed all the dragons? They didn't kill some of their little weird draconic offspring. So the drakes are kind of like how monkeys are a satire of humans. Honestly. Drakes are kind of a satire of dragons, and the Dweghom were like, you know what, we them and the Hellfire Drake is one of those things, and they strapped a bunch of those big fucking fire cannons to it and just have it kind of walk. They just blow shit up. In contrast, the Ironclad Drake is a little exciting. It lacks cannons. It does have a gigantic throne with banners, being that in Dweghom society, if you're a cool enough dude and a badass enough, Ray leading your clan, you'll finally earn the right to ride on one of these things. Thing is, once they go to the trouble of getting you up there, like someone accidentally kicked the ladder down and they can't get you back, you just stay like stuck to the throne as a little skeleton. And this thing just continues to go around killing things. So on the model, it does have the option skeletonized Holdray just sitting up there enjoying his
little trip around the block.
Yeah.
I will say that the drakes are probably the actual. They live up to the level of metal that the Dweghom lore sets out. Some of them not as much, but these ones definitely do.
To put that statement into focus, and also sharp contrast to the drakes, we now come to Stoneforged.
Yay!
Um,
Fuck this guy.
So when Ishkedros emerged, he basically was like, surprise, I made Stoneforged. Unfortunately, when the others tried to copy his design notes, I don't know if they were drunk or if something got lost in translation, but it didn't quite pan out the way that it did for his. Yeah.
They came out wrong.
It's basically
out wrong.
It's basically a powerful quote unquote powerful protector for the tempered cast. I don't quite understand. Like, I like the idea of the model. Some of the poses that you can get are neat. Some of them aren't. It's a little bit weird because it's like it's kind of like the Abomination problem, where it's a bunch of ball joints to go together at once. The thing that most confuses me is the little rider up top. Looks like he's just wearing like his little like onesie jammies. He's got like a weird screamy pretzel hat on. Like, it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, that's the Stoneforged. That's probably more words than anyone has ever dedicated for.
The greatest description I've ever heard is, yeah, it's a big dumb kung fu robot. That's how Leaf described it to me, and I was like, oh. And then he's like, yeah, he's gonna kung fu you. So he's gonna slowly waddle over and kung fu you.
I don't know what I was thinking with mine. I kind of put the hands outstretched like reach for something, but instead it either looks like it's getting really creep up on someone like Grimace from the and like grab someone. So
oh man,
that's how that actually. I'll see if I can get a photo of it.
Oh, no.
I can contribute to the Dweghom episode.
I'm gonna Photoshop it. It's like, give me them titties.
it's like Dweghom.
I suppose that's another option. Yes.
It's like in the Dweghom mind, it's like, yeah, this is gonna be so sick, and then it's like reality.
Oh no, I have Karakeys all over it. It's in my pile of it's in the pile of what is it, unwanted or unloved toys, whatever that Christmas thing is. Or the island of misfit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just chilling with my Karakeys and the Inferno.
Just whatever else we can shove in there. What did we use? Hold on. This makes me. God damn it. Okay, it's on this one. I'm just checking. I was wondering what I used for an image last time. Oh, I used that. Okay, cool.
It's not gonna be a good image.
Did you send it? Where'd you drop this?
I haven't sent it yet. I'm cropping the image so you don't have to see my empty whiskey glass. So I'll just put it in. There we go.
Oh, he's just like, yeah, he's ready to throw you in Uncle Touchy's. Was it Uncle Touchy's?
All right. Well, this is gonna be easy.
Oh yeah, Uncle Touchy's puzzle dungeon.
Oh God, I don't know if I should write that.
Probably not.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Fuck it. Is that what we're gonna call War's Prison? Uncle Touchy's Pleasure Dungeon?
Uncle Touchy's puzzle dungeon? Holy shit, that's actually so good.
Okay, hold on. Conquest. Am I making the thumbnail right now? Okay, go to
someone let Uncle Touchy out of the puzzle dungeon.
Jesus. There's nothing sacred. Okay, where is War? Scroll down. Oh, what the fuck? I don't want that. I want Genesis. I need a picture of War. There he is. Can I... Okay, which one was Lord? I feel like he was the weird... Yeah, he's the one that looks most Dweghom. Okay. It's gonna be weird. Okay, we'll wrap that up. I'll figure out a thumbnail with Uncle Touchy's Pleasure Dungeon. We'll figure that one out.
I still think the safer option would be a Thriller reference, but you do you.
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Whatever. I guess whatever speaks to you is
whatever.
I still think.
Go ahead, Skillen.
I think someone let Uncle Touchy out of the puzzle dungeon.
Hold on. Can we do a Hellraiser?
One sec. I've got it. I've got an image for it that you can use. You can put them next to each other. Where is it? I've got too many reaction images. This is the sad story of my life. Okay, there's the...
Just put it beside that thing.
There's the bleach inhaler.
The bleach inhaler? What the fuck?
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm worried about it.
I guess I love how people get to listen to this near the end of the episode, like the real time.
Oh whoops, we're recording, aren't we?
Yeah, we should wrap it up, but everyone gets to enjoy this as we try and figure out the thumbnail in live.
This is a real treat. Oh god, this is actually boring. Where is it?
This is that BonkTable realness they pay so much for.
How drunk are you?
This is 2 hours of free entertainment. They can shove it if they don't want it.
You don't have to pay for this. You just have to listen.
They don't even have to do that. And if they,
quite
frankly,
they can listen to an AI summary.
Yeah.
If they've been here this long, then quite frankly, they probably love this. They're in their element. They're like, oh yeah,
they're ready. The Leviathan realm in hell. Oh, okay. Is that what this is called?
Oh, in Hellraiser, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the sign.
Oh no, Uncle Okay.
I wasn't making that up out of nowhere.
I'm gonna combine that with the Hellraiser dungeon and Uncle Touchy. And that'll be War's prison for the Dweghom meme. Oh.
It's like don't let him out. You should put War there with like the thing, and it's like the Dweg are like coming up to like teach him how to get out.
Oh man, War. It's like more of a concept. You can't really get a good image of War. Sadly, it's not like something by itself, and I can edit around.
Do you want War? I have the Horseman.
You just put War.
Yeah,
you
send
put
me War.
And you put like the shape thing, and you have a Dweg just putting it in the hole.
So I don't know if this is the best, but that's... Well, here, I'll just send it directly to you, so I stop spamming the very confused people in...
Oh no, they get to live through this chat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They know what's happening. You have seen me post shit in this one chat where I organize stuff, and it's
I suppose in concert, all these images probably...
Oh, that is much better. And Broken, the Destroyer, spoke and said, "Fools, I may not be stopped, I may never be imprisoned. For to wage war to end me is to revel and exalt me." And they listened at his words, and they learned, and in his endless nature they saw the makings of his prison, forged from the very elements that shaped him. And pieces of him they took to make it. Fire to burn fire, metal to hold metal, magma to shower burning rock, war perpetual, war warring war, war until the end. Such is his sin, so was his punishment. Externium. The works of the unborn. Celestial bureaucracy approved text number 653121. Sweet. Let's save that.
Celestial bureaucracy.
It says celestial bureaucracy. Approved text at the
That
bottom.
rules. Who's the celestial bureaucracy?
Hey, that's for an episode later. That's a tidbit for other people.
We can't go giving away the whole game right now.
Yeah, Stravos will get mad because he needs people to buy his book.
Well, also, no one's gonna fucking listen to us if we give away everything already.
Shapes game, kids. After look, it's right beside Hellraiser, Leviathan, Realm, and Hell, and then I'm doing Shape Game Kids under image to find this. Oh, this one looks good. Yeah, that'll do. All right, I'll build a thumbnail out of that. This will be fun. Okay, let's wrap her up, gentlemen and lady.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Big thing we got to plug. I believe this is coming out next Friday from our current Saturday, so on the 11th, so I'll give plenty of time. Steve, this is your big thing. Golden Rhino Games is hosting a big Worlds event in August. I have someone cool, sent me the links. Nope.
Well, it couldn't have been me, though.
I had to find them at some point, but I could probably dig them out of the episode that just went up on BonkTable itself.
So technically, that's the Longshanks page. I will see the actual store page because people that sign up on Longshanks and don't buy a ticket are probably going to be a little bit upset when they aren't in the system.
Oh no! I have it linked for both Golden Rhino and Longshanks. I just need to get the dates so I can do it. Yeah, I put both links in. Okay, so this one says August 16th.
Yep, 16th and 17th. It's a 2-day event, 5 rounds.
Saturday, Sunday.
We're looking hopefully for 40 people. We could probably go in that space. But it's going to be super crazy. We have a shit ton of prize support planned. It's pretty fucking wild, and that's not even the stuff the Parabellum is going to be tossing in. We've got a bunch of Founders exclusives up for grabs. We basically, the top 3 spots. We have Best Painted. There's painting raffles. Show up with other stuff based. We've got whammy prizes, door prizes. We have prizes for Best in Faction for all 9 factions that are going to be available at the time. A bunch of other stuff. It's going to be fucking lit. And we also, I think by the time it goes up, Parabellum announced it on the live stream, but they made us fish nut. That's wild. It's a horrible little pink Krang-like thing in a golden rhino mech suit. So
it rules.
Yeah, show up, get it. It's going to be a good time. 2 days of duking it out with friends, old and new. I'm sure coming. Something. I think Mass signed up, so you can meet Mass. Heroes.
Yay!
Mass on BonkTable in person.
Mass on BonkTable. Yes.
Yeah, so good time. Follow the links, sign up. We'd be happy to have you. The painting requirement has been lifted.
So still paint.
You'll be eligible for those painting prizes. They're pretty sick. It's not just, oh boy, you painted more just what you wanted, right? No, we did try to make it pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be great. Gonna be a real fun time, I think. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing everyone down there. So get excited and hope to see you down there.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you very much, Steve. I told you to plug it.
Thank you for letting me plug it on your show.
Yeah, no problem.
That was a very well rehearsed plug, by the way. Like, I appreciate the practice.
I did not practice or rehearse any of that. I'm just used to telling people, please come.
It was good.
Yeah. Other things we got to plug. If you like this, like and subscribe to YouTube, join the BonkTable Discord. All those links will be in the description below. You can also listen to this on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Podbean and all that other stuff. Some people are like, your stuff is only on YouTube. It's not. It's on the other podcast stuff. It's just easier for me to link it. And also, you can do comments. So, what do I want to say about that? Yeah, it's easier for me to read your comments on YouTube because I just got an app on my phone. While you can just join the BonkTable Discord and also just complain to us. Or bother Steve about lore. We have a lore channel now. What else do we got to say? There's join Cassandra on her Twitter, and then join Cassandra on her secret Twitter, what's way more explicit. So that one, Thunder Rider Kid, do not go to that one. You have to find it yourself. Don't do it. We know you listen.
Yeah.
Please get your dad to look through these first before you listen. Please.
Oh
I put them as explicit for a reason. What else? Skillen, do you have anything to plug?
Not really.
Okay, cool.
All of my stuff is like unrelated to Conquest, so I don't know.
Skillen,
If you're in Winnipeg and you want to learn to sword fight, hit me up.
very specific. Just watch your Heba club get like 6 more people. You're like, what's happening? Oh,
Dude,
listen to BonkTable.
It's actually been fucking relentless for like the past several months. Like 2 or 3 new people, right? Not always the same new people, but like 2 or 3 new people showing up every week or two. So like I don't know. We're at the point where like we don't have enough gear, even with like all the people who've been around. Like we're barely able to scrape to enough gear together to like facilitate everybody. So like I don't know. If anything, I need my shit to slow down like slightly.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I wish we had that problem with Conquest.
Yeah.
On a Saturday note. Lastly, I don't think I have anything else after that. Steep plug, yeah. Oh, lore. Next one for lore, I think we should do either... Was Wadrunal around before or after the fall?
So I don't know. Did we want to? I think we should probably. Fuck, this is where things get weird. I would say do release order.
Okay, so the next one would be...
Nords is a little... So I think Nord... Yeah, because the fall is preceded by the Northern Crusades. So I think that Nord should be next. And then why they're so...
do we want to...
Why life sucks.
Because I know we got to do 100k after the fall, because the fall affects like 100k Sorcerer Kings and City-States for sure.
Well, plus the 100 Kingdoms doesn't exist yet until after the fall.
Yeah, but do Wadrun exist before or after the fall?
I think they technically exist just before the fall, but...
Man, they did not have a good time. They did not start out at the... There was no quality for starting for the Wadrun. Those poor guys.
Classic Spires move.
Yeah. Let's... I want to say your pick. You can either do Nords Wadrun or Old D. Which one? You get to pick, and then Lord Daddy Kang will just have to follow suit. So you get to pick the next time we record for lore.
I would say Nords just because it follows the safe things. It's also, like I said, it kind of involve like the slaying of the Norse gods. Precedes the actual fall. That's one of the events that has the go.
All right, let's. We're doing Nords next then.
And if you want my recommendation, I don't know. I would almost say invite Carl on for that because Peter would probably be a better resource because he actually, I think, cares about the lore a little more deeply.
You're telling me that Peter reads?
Yeah, just not the rules.
Just DM Peter.
But no, he'd probably be a decent pick for Nord's lore. He likes reading about it.
Okay, I sent a message to Peter.
Live on air.
Yeah, this is how I do it. This is how I make sure that I'm responsible and also hold whatever I say. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much for joining us, Lore Uncle Steve. I hope you had a great time.
Once again, I would like to apologize to the listeners.
I have good news. Peter has just replied. He said, yeah, that would be fun. When? Well, I guess we have to figure out a date. All right, let's close it out. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.